So I have been planning on doing a short series on doing some serious modifications to my bead roller here. This is a Harbor Freight 18-inch hand crank bead roller. And as everybody knows who has one of these things, they do flex quite a bit. And when you start actually hand cranking them, it's really hard to stay on your line and crank it without having a second person cranking while you're feeding it through here. And if you guys aren't on the same page, that can get pretty comical and you could end up with some wasted material because you get a wrong speed going around a corner and you mess up a part real easily. Now I've already done some modifications to this one. I have put some feet on it so I could just clamp it to my table and then I could take it off, set it on the floor and it doesn't flop around, and then I put a fence on it here. Now this fence really does more to keep it from twisting around on me than actually as a fence, because I really don't use it that much as a fence. And I think they've gotten bent a little bit too, moving from one shop to another, but that can be fixed. So I've been looking at what other people have been doing to modify these, because I want to make it motorized. And I've been looking at what people are doing to motorize it, try to get the speeds right. Started researching motors and variable speed foot switches. And of course, if I put a motor on it, I'm probably going to want to go ahead and put it on a stand. And if I'm going to do all that, I want to at minimum reinforce this or build a whole new frame. And then I'm probably going to go ahead and try to make it a 24 to 30 inch range instead of 18 while I'm at it. So I thought it would make a really nice little series of videos of modifying this or building whatever I was going to end up actually doing. But the other day I was on Marketplace because, well, if you're an automotive YouTuber and you like doing project cars, you do that sort of thing. And right at the top of the list was this, a Mittler Brothers 24-inch motorized bead roller with the variable speed control already on it. And it's actually the first one I can ever remember actually seeing on there. And the timing was just perfect. And the price was pretty decent, so I went and picked this thing up. Now, Mittler Brothers has been around for a while. If you're into fabrication at all, then you know who they are. This is the older unit. It's not the new one. The new one that they have now on the 24-inch one is not a fabricated unit. It's all aluminum on the top, and they give you a different lower stand that has a bunch of die holders on here. This one doesn't have any. Now, of course, at some point, when I start getting more dies, we're going to need to do some modifications to this to add some die holders to it. Now I was kind of hoping that the dies from this would fit this, but they don't. These dies here are for 3/4 inch shaft. Those are for 22 millimeter, plus the center line of the shaft is different, which means these are bigger diameter, so those will not work. So I don't need any of that anymore. But of course, these dies do cost more than what those do, because this is what all the pros use. There are well over 300 various dies available for these with different profiles and stuff, which is a lot more than I think is available for that. And but they're higher quality dies. The ones that come with that are actually not that great. The bead itself, the clearances aren't very good, and it kind of marks up the panels a little bit. Where the stuff you get for these doesn't do that. So it is a much better setup than what I would have ended up with there. But, you know, we're not going to do the videos on it now. So we do have projects that are already lined up waiting to come in here right now, and one of them is going to need complete custom floors. So this will really come in handy for that one. But we've been struggling to get that in here and get started on it because the weather around here has been crap lately. We got a bunch of snow, a little bit of melt, everything froze, it's all icy, and now we're into single digits. So yeah, moving cars around, getting what's in here out, and getting the new stuff in so we can get going has been a real trick lately. And that next project belongs to a friend of mine who is currently out of town, so we've been having some scheduling issues as well. So while we are struggling to get the next car in here, I have been working on the shop. That's why we started working on the English wheel, and we got some other stuff we've been working on around the shop and making some room, trying to get it ready so we can hit the ground running when we do get started on those.